Let's jump right into it, man.
Got a lot to
I
get to.
am Johnell. I'm with my guy Matt Price, Cash Walking. This is Heat Check powered by Designated Report. I see the opening night T-shirt on right now.
Yeah, yeah.
My boy was in the building last night for the opener, the win over the Cavs.
Woo.
How are you feeling? How's the energy in Madison Square Garden? New coach, new team. How are we feeling?
Yo, there was a buzz about the city. You could tell. Just like frequenting the spots that we go to before the games and stuff like that. Like we left from here, we drove down early. So we went to Stout. ESPN Radio was there with Alan Hahn and Peter Rosenberg and Don
Okay.
LaGreca. All those guys were over there doing the show live from there. And then so we stopped there, had a drink before the game. And then yeah, just walking through the street, man. You see everybody, even people that aren't going to the game, they dressed in their Knicks gear. Everybody just excited about what's going on. And then when you get inside, just sitting that we always seem to get me, JP, and Alphatino, we always seem to get sat next to people that are like these like other group of rowdy dudes, kind of like us, that like are really into it. They know what they talk about. They hear us talking, so they're like, yeah, I know, right? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's always a good time, man. Everybody's locked in, everybody's focused, everybody's got the same goal. And yeah, man, it felt nice to be back in there
Yeah.
for a game that counts. Because I
Yeah.
was in there for the preseason game, but we were like just walking around the whole time. It was like I was like, let's just go explore the garden for the preseason game. But yeah,
Game that
man,
a game that counts against a team that we're anticipating is going to be
yeah,
very good. You guys
yeah,
took care of business.
that certainly can mean something later. Picking up that game towards the season series. These are two teams that are going to be battling for the top seed, honestly, in the East.
Agreed.
Both teams were missing some guys. I believe they had Garland and Struess out, and DeAndre Hunter. Cat was a game time decision, limping up and down the court all night, but had a great game. Josh Hart's been out with the back, and he's still got his finger that he's dealing with. And then Mitchell Robinson also didn't play. So with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley and those guys, I was a little bit worried that that was going to be something that they had to that they had some trouble with. But they really did a great job handling those two bigs. Evan Mobley had his moments, but they did a good job containing him. As far as Mike Brown,
And
I
that was
like
going to
what
be my next question.
yeah,
How are you feeling?
I like what I saw so far. I know it's obviously very early, just one game, but just he played 11 guys. He played the second and third year players, young guys who weren't big in the rotation, like Tyler Kolek last night. Ariel Hukporti filled in, the German second year player center. He filled in for Mitch in his absence and gave us some solid minutes. Was big on the boards, big contested shots at the rim, and just the flow of the offense, the ball movement, Brunson getting shots off the ball, not just easy catch and shoots from guys. Not having to dribble and put it on the floor and do so much to make everything happen. Even though that's a part of his game, I don't want him to be doing that every single possession, grinding them
Absolutely,
down
yeah.
during the regular season. So it was a good sign. Like he played the same amount of minutes. He played like 34, 35 minutes, something like that. So it's not a minutes thing; it's a usage thing. As far as preserving this guy for the time we're really going to need him in May and June. So, yeah, man, I was very, very happy to see that. I think they shot like 40 plus threes too. It was night and day from a Tibbs game, and that's no disrespect to Tibbs, but it was night and day from the way that he coaches.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it sounds, I mean, again, going into the year, I think there are high expectations. I think they're fair and valid expectations for this team with the talent they have. We saw what they did last year, and the thought would be that you're going to continue to build on that, what you guys did last year with this new coach, with this new roster. So I think it's warranted the eyes that are on Madison Square Garden and the excitement that
Yes,
you and all of the Knicks fans are feeling. So I'm definitely excited to see how
definitely,
this season plays out for the New York Knicks.
definitely, definitely.
I mean, we're gonna jump into it. Heat check. Heat
Yeah,
check.
let's get right to it.
Yeah. So everybody's played one game. It's Thursday, the night of recording, the 23rd. Everybody has played one game to this point in the season. I want to start with Tuesday night, the first game of the season, the banner ceremony, the ring ceremony for OKC. They were playing host to Houston, and it was an electric game. I don't think the NBA
Yeah,
could have asked for a better first game of the
Certainly
season.
not.
Double overtime game. OKC was able to pull things out at the end. What I know you're locked in. We're locked into to all these games, especially, the opening night tip off. What did you think of that game? Are there any takeaways? Again, very early in the season, one game. Any
Yeah.
takeaways coming out of that game?
I said to someone, I was like, like midway through the game, I was like, even you could tell the intensity was there. You could tell there was a lot of energy between those two teams, and they both see each other as legitimate threats to their goals and what they want to do and where they want to be. So I think that my takeaway was like, this might be our conference finals right here.
Yeah.
And then as the game kind of played out the way it did, I said, man, the Rockets, yeah, they have Fred VanVleet and he's injured right now, but I said they're just about that away from really being something that's tough to deal with. Sengun and these guys, their young players are very, very talented. And I just feel like that young core and Kevin Durant being on a team that he doesn't have to carry is, a perfect scenario for him. So, yeah, man, I think that was my takeaway is that this might be our Western Conference Finals.
I'm right there with you. Again, I'm going to say this at the start of the season, and I just needed to carry throughout, barring injury. Like, obviously, we're assuming everybody's going to be healthy. We know that's not true, but injuries aside, I'm right there with you, man. OKC looks like they're picking up right where they left off. And honestly, Houston looks like they're picking up right where they left off
Yeah,
as well because they were fantastic last year. They added KD, obviously. He restructured his deal to make sure that they have
yeah,
flexibility. They can make a move or two if they need to. Um, I agree. Again, the West is packed. They have so much talent in the West, but just watching those two teams duel it out on Tuesday night, they're going to be a very fun watch. Houston was fun to watch last year, but they're
yeah.
going to be a very fun watch, and they're going to be both of these teams going to be super competitive throughout the season. I want to jump over to the Eastern Conference. We saw a historic
Yeah,
debut in Philadelphia. VJ Edgecombe, his debut with the Sixers.
big game.
Boy, fresh out of Baylor, just put when I say historic performance, I literally mean a historic performance.
Oh, yeah,
Ended up with 34 points, most in a debut in franchise history, passing Allen Iverson. He had 14 points in the first quarter. That's an NBA record for a debut, passing LeBron, and third most points ever in a debut in NBA history.
big
I think Philly's got something going with this kid and with Tyrese Maxey.
for sure.
What were you impressed by in his performance? Obviously, the scoring,
Yeah, yeah.
he's long, he's a great defender, but what else did you see watching that game?
Look, I'm looking at his box score right now, and he did a lot. I mean, he's got a number in every stat line. So I guess, but I'm not gonna use one of those things as what jumped out to me. It was his motor.
Yeah,
He's getting his hands in passing lanes. He's after every single rebound on both ends of the floor. He's distributing the ball. He's touching the paint and getting it out of his hands or going up aggressively strong, like a great athlete. I said this
yeah,
last week.
yes.
He's an outstanding athlete. He plays above the rim for a wing player like that. He's doing everything and not turning the ball over either, which is what you want from any of your backcourt players.
Especially a young player, yeah.
Yeah, a young player too. In his first real game. So that's I guess what jumped out to me the most was that the motor. He played the most minutes on the team. Played 42 minutes. He took more shots than Maxi. So I guess in addition with the motor, the swagger, man. Like
Yeah.
this guy came in and took more shots than Tyrese Maxey than Joel Embiid. Like he got these dudes watching him play. So clearly Nick Nurse has given him the green light. Like he is green lit. And they're like, yeah, man, it's your show. Go ahead, we'll follow your lead, I guess.
So you mentioned Joel Embiid. I
Awful.
think I saw you tweet or maybe respond to somebody on Twitter. It was Cody talking
Yeah, yeah,
about Joel. Joel, he said that Joel Embiid should retire.
yeah.
My question to you, not retirement, although that might not be out of the realm of possibility, but he was terrible last night.
Terrible.
He ended
Yeah,
up with 4.6 rebounds. He played 20 minutes, understandably coming off of an injury, but this has been the trend for Joel Embiid. He's when he's on, and he's healthy, he's phenomenal. He's damn near
Yeah.
unguardable. But if he's not on the court, what's it matter? Is he worth the trouble? I mean, it seems like Philly has their young core
Yeah.
in VJ and Tyrese. Like, do you try to salvage whatever remaining whatever you can get from Joel Embiid? Do you try to ship him someplace and build around those two, or do you still trust the process and see where this goes?
I mean, their roster is that middle of the road kind of roster. It's like where they have these veterans on their team that they want to win. Paul George, Embiid, even down to Eric Gordon and Kyle Lowry. These guys on the bench who aren't even really playing like that, but
Yeah, they didn't make
they
him.
they they came there because they thought that there was an opportunity to compete or win a championship. So I think that you're there. Even Andre Drummond and guys like that. So you have these veteran players, but and then you have Nick Nurse, who's a championship coach. Like you brought him there to win championships and get Joel Embiid over the hill. So I mean, I think you'd be accepting a fate if you were to go that route. But that seems to be the route that most of these organizations take when you find an exciting new toy, like or and a new player like Edgecombe here, and you got him, you compare him with Maxi. Maybe now we're not throwing inside to a big and watching him go to work in the post. Maybe now we're up and down the floor running team to use our athleticism and our speed and spread the floor. Maybe the vision has changed a little bit. And
Maybe,
I
yeah.
think that could be true for just them and Philly. And also, like you said, or like I think you were kind of saying it, like the game might have passed him by, like the way he plays.
Yeah.
He's not particularly fast. He's not, he's not really an outstanding athlete. He's a very skilled player
Yes.
for his
I
size.
absolutely agree. Yeah.
That's his thing. So I don't know. I think that he's approaching that time of his career where, yeah, you could trade him, and he's that final piece now to a contender rather than the
He's not the
main
building
piece.
block.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not the building block. He's not. He's no longer the cornerstone of a franchise anymore. And I think it'd be a tough pill to swallow. But I would I'd imagine that people in the front office in Philadelphia are at least thinking about it.
Yeah. I was just looking him up. Joel Embiid, 31 years old. In the big
Yes.
scheme of things, still super young.
Yeah.
But his body, it feels like he got a
Yeah.
body of a 40-year-old,
It's
you
been
know?
10 years of this.
Yeah.
A true decade. Like he was drafted and put on the shelf
Yep.
because of injury, and then
Yep.
he comes back. He's co-rookie of the years or something like that. I forget who. I don't know how it happened, but then he has some good years. Good years. They're processing. They're processing. Then you finally get a year. They get knocked out. You get another year. You get knocked out. You get another year. He gets hurt. You get another year. He gets knocked out, and it's like here we are now. We're 30. That's how it is. So I think that it's a very realistic thing that before Philadelphia to look and see if you got him healthy midseason and he's giving you 19 a game or something like that. I would look to say, hey, he is up. The name is out there
Yeah.
for any takers.
I agree. I agree. Because this team is currently constructed, I don't think they're truly competitors to win a
Yeah,
championship. And I wasn't going to the place of maybe the game has passed them by, but that's a really interesting thought because I don't disagree with what you're saying.
yeah,
Again, he is super dominant when he's on the court and when he's healthy, but when it comes to a skill set, he's not as skilled as like Jokic in terms of like scoring and being able to be a facilitator as
yeah,
well as being,
yeah,
available. But he could legitimately be Joel Embiid, that is, could legitimately be that last piece that gets somebody over the hump. And I would be shocked if their front office wasn't
yeah,
fielding offers or kind of putting their feelers out to see who and maybe not right this minute, but you get into January, you get into
yeah.
February, right around the trade deadline. At that point, it's like, where are we as a team? Where's
What's up?
he health wise and as a player?
All those
And what
things.
could we potentially, trade for and get in return?
Yeah, I don't even think you should want to even go for draft picks or anything like that. I think I would look more for a package of expiring contracts or some, guys who maybe could help you. Guys who are going into that second deal, into their rookie deal. that a team might not be, like he showed some promise. Give me four of those guys for Embiid. You know what I mean? However many it takes to match his contract, and that's it. I would really do that, and then kind of have an open tryout. See who you keep, and if you don't keep anybody, then the money's off your books, and you go and you draft and you start it all over again that way.
Yeah.
But that's what I would do.
Yeah. Trust the process.
Yes.
Let's get into some way too early performance evaluations. Just give me one player through one game that has been somebody that made you say, shoot, like he's coming this year.
Okay. Uh, what's it? Miles Bridges
Okay.
on Charlotte. There was a bold. We were asked on designated report to give a bold prediction. My bold prediction was that the Charlotte Hornets are going to make the playoffs this year, maybe via play-in, but they're going to make the playoffs this year. The Hornets. They can score the basketball. They really can, and
They
I like
can,
the
yeah.
backcourt they have. They're like LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. You remember a young man from
Yep. Alabama.
Alabama. Yeah, he's got a lot of talent, man. He can score in a lot of ways. He's just he's a good outside shooter. He's able to get his shots and his spot and all the spots on the floor and score from all three levels. I really like his game. But yeah, Bridges, man, this dude, he's been going crazy on the rebounds. He's a really reliable scorer for them too, and he's kind of like the veteran leadership on that team now, which is crazy.
That's yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Considering everything, yeah.
Yeah, all the things he's had to go through. But he's like the veteran leadership on that team. But yeah, they really got it going the other night against Brooklyn. Even though I know Brooklyn's on their rebuild too. But yeah, they got some good young pieces, and with LaMelo Ball, the way he plays, it's electric. It's electric down there. They're a real exciting team. They're gonna be one of my league pass teams this year because their announcer is the
Yeah.
best. And
Yes.
there's Mike Breen, and then a bunch of other guys, but this guy right here, I forget his name. I always forget his name. I forget, but he's awesome.
So what I will say is I feel like you're batting 1,000 when it comes to your league pass teams. Aside, you got the Knicks,
Yep,
that's a given. But
yep,
you gave us Sacramento a couple of years ago. You gave us
Orlando.
Orlando.
Yep,
I
yep.
feel like you might have been tapped into Houston
I was
early
tapped
on.
into Houston because I knew about Shingun. I'm telling
Yep,
you, bro.
yep. And now it's Charlotte. So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
They're
You're
on the
batting
way.
a
I be
thousand right
calling them.
now.
I see the vision before it's come. I be seeing. There's just little things with these teams. Like you start to see how a team is like right there. Like when you watch their games, like Charlotte, they weren't a team that was getting blown out all the time. They were competing in a lot of games. They were losing tough games. That is what will jump out to you, and you know the team is on their way. If they're losing close games like that, but they're competing, they're giving everybody a run for their money. That's the real deal. I think they're on to something down there. And I like their rookie. He's another dark horse, Con Canupo from Duke. He's a dark
Yes.
horse for a
Yes.
rookie of the year too, because they're gonna put a lot on him as far as the offensive load, scoring. Yeah, man. LaMelo's got a lot of playmakers to work with down there. The way he plays, it's perfect. The roster they built around him.
Like it. I like it. I got one more before we move on to the next. We got news that the NBA is bringing back the Larry O'Brien logo on the
Yes.
court for the NBA Finals. How do you feel about that?
I feel a whole lot better if it's in the middle of the garden. That's all I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. It's when I go pick this one up next year
Yep.
that we hanging a banner in
Okay.
that day.
I
That's what I
like it.
want.
I like
I'll
it.
feel a whole lot better if I see that Larry OB going through this Knicks logo right here in Madison Square Garden. That will be awesome.
I respect it. I love it. I love it. It brings back a little nostalgia.
Yeah. When did they take it out?
I feel like the last time I remember seeing it,
I was
bro,
like, it had to be like 2012 or something like that. Like I feel like it was
I
like,
was gonna say like 2010.
yeah, because
We
I
got a fact check, but it's been a
yeah
while.
I remember playing in the championship of 2K. They used to have it in there.
Yep. Yeah,
That was
yeah, yeah.
fire. Leave letting them you be in the finals of 2K and they got the court just like they do in real life.
Yeah. Crowd going crazy. They
Everything,
spinning towels and everything. Yeah,
all
man.
that.
Yeah, I'm definitely a victim of the minimalistic look. So I'm part of the problem here. But I love the big like oversized logos. We saw
Yeah,
Philly, they're bringing back their old jerseys with the big
I love it.
Sixers across.
The
Yeah,
blacks
like
are.
We got to
Yeah.
get back to it. I love it. I need it. I
I was
need it.
like,
I need
no,
it. I
that
need it.
almost turned me. That almost turned me because it was like a dark time. The Knicks were turning to dark time at that time.
Yes. Yes.
It
Yes.
was
Yes.
just turning dark. Like Pats gets traded to Seattle or Orlando or something crazy like that. Things just got crazy. LJ retired. Like all sorts of stuff started happening. The team's falling apart, and then they stink. And then AI come through. We in high
Yep.
school at this time. The braids is
Yep.
braiding.
Yep.
We
Yep.
got the baggy shorts. Like
Headbands.
yo,
Yep.
everything. I'm like, I wanted to get tattoos. I'm looking up how much it costs. All that. It was crazy. Yeah, I was asking Jeeves how much tattoo costs.
Yo.
This is a real search, kids. There was a thing before
Yep.
Google. Before Google, there was a thing called Ask Jeeves. You asked him, and he told you what it
Yo. That's
was.
funny.
Yeah,
Man, that's crazy that the jerseys, AI and the jerseys almost made you
I
abandon
almost
ship.
switched. I was like, I'm already with the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? But it'll just make sense. Now we just there with one more. What is it? But now I stayed down, and here we are.
Yeah, reaping
Yes,
the fruits of your labor,
yes,
New
yes.
York Knicks.
Would have been a much longer drive back from opening night if I had to go all the way to Philly.
Very true. Very
But they were
true.
in Boston anyway.
So, unfortunately, we got to get into some bad news.
Boy,
A lot happened
this
today.
is dark.
Again,
This is
October
dark.
23rd is the day that we're recording,
Yeah.
and we got hit over the head a couple times by
This
Shams
came
this
out of
morning.
nowhere.
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 Gambling. We've talked about gambling before. We talked about it last year.
I have a whole
Jontay
segment.
Porter.
I
Yes,
have a
we
whole
had a whole
segment.
segment,
Yeah.
and it has reared its ugly head again.
Yes.
I prefaced this entire conversation by saying this is all alleged.
All a legend.
We have very little information right now.
Yeah.
I'm sure more information is going to come out over the days, weeks, months. But today we found out that Terry Rozier, Miami Heat, he's been all over the place. He played in Charlotte, but a current player has been arrested with allegations revolving around sports betting. We also saw Chauncey Billups, former Detroit Piston great, NBA champion,
Hall of
Hall of
Famer.
Famer, head coach of the Portland Trailblazers. He was also arrested. And Damon Jones, a former NBA player, also arrested by the feds, by the FBI, and a
Yeah.
gambling probe. Terry was, and honestly, I think this is the worst of the three based on
I
the
think
news that
so.
came out. Essentially, Terry was arrested because he had a sports betting like group, and he was telling them like, "Hey, bet on under 18 points or whatever," and then he would leave games early
Yeah.
to make sure that those things hit.
Act like he was hurt and
Not
all that stuff.
ideal.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
That's the most shameful one.
Yeah.
Without question.
And it's in the same vein as Jonte Porter, what we saw with him
Yeah. But
last
Jontay
year.
Porter was like a meaningless player. Like
Yeah,
not
he
for
was a
nothing.
bum.
Like
He was
he
a
was
bum.
a scrub. Terry
In term
Rozier
in the
was
big
getting
scheme
real
of things.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Terry Rozier playing real minutes for a team that was trying to get a playoff spot.
Yes. Yes. Chauncey Billups, he's got at least two cases against him from what I saw. One is related to sports betting, and I don't think we have details on that just yet. And the other is related to rigged poker games, which
Yeah.
sounds insane. And then
Yeah.
lastly, Damon Jones. I actually think I saw you tweet about this not too long ago. Damon Jones was arrested. He played with LeBron
Yeah.
and he's got a connection. They're friends. Apparently, he was feeding information about LeBron's health and, quote, top Lakers players
Yeah.
about their health, whether they were hurt or they were hindered or whatever the case is, feeding that to, again, friends, family, betting group, whatever. But essentially, it's inside information.
Yeah. Like it's not like public news like how a reporter would report. Like it's not how Shims would come out
Exactly.
and say so and so is doubtful for tonight.
Correct.
He
Correct.
telling people that I think he's gonna go, but he's dealing with a sore hamstring and stuff like that. Dealing like
Exactly.
stuff that the doctors would know or like someone on the team.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
It's not in the injury report. Hey, LeBron has a sprained ankle. He's going to be out for three
yeah,
weeks. It's Hey, I talked to Bron, and again, alleged. This is just an example,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I talked to Bron, and he told me today that he tweaked his ankle when he was walking to the car today. He plans to play, but and you can take it from there. Like, oh, he tweaked his ankle. Man, maybe he's not as explosive today. Maybe he got so and so guarding him today, and he won't be able to get past. Like,
yeah,
just little tidbits, little inside
yeah.
information to help betters. We frown upon all of that. It's
Exactly.
insider trading. We can't
It
have
is.
that. So I think the biggest thing is the big implications are the credibility and the integrity of the NBA. And quite frankly, this can be applied across the board to all sports, right? Um, I think the first thing, or my first question to you is, what does the league need to do in terms of damage control? Like, you and me as the fan, we're watching the game. What does the league have to say to us for us to be like, okay, this was an isolated event. It's not going on, unilaterally across the board. But when I pay my hard earned money to go watch a game, I want to know that the coaches and the players are actually competing. What does the league have to say to us in order to make us feel and believe that?
Or when I pay my money to put on a hard earned bet. You know what I mean?
That
I
too.
want Terry Rozier over 13 and a half
That too.
points. And he leaving the game when he not really hurt.
Yeah.
That's really
100%.
I feel like is the point. And then you're scamming the sports books, which is they're partners in the NBA. That's why they're everything is all the whole relationship between the sports books and any of these pro leagues is the integrity.
Yes.
From my understanding, I'll just from a little bit of reading today. Like I know that they're audited. I know that there's like a lot of flagged, like a lot of people that work for FanDuel, Draft Books, or DraftKings Sports Books, all those that flag bets and how
Yeah.
often they're coming in, how
Yeah.
the speed in which they're coming in, the amount that's wagered. They're tracking all that stuff to better help the NBA find these guys. But I think
Absolutely.
the NBA has to do a better job on their end. I mean, it's not enough to just say don't do it anymore because you got to educate these guys on exactly what are the do's and don'ts. Like I think they know what not to do, but I think some of it gets tricky. Like Terry Rozier is probably I know I'm not defending it in any way, but in the beginning he was probably like, you know what, let me just get in and tell these dudes like I feel hot today, or so and so's not playing in the starting lineup. You know what I mean? And bet us to win by this, and then it just you got to be careful because you do a favor for some of these people, and it just snowballs, and now you're into something that you're not supposed to be doing. So I think educating the players more on what's out there, and things that can be, presented as an opportunity to make a little extra money, or you're just helping out some friends, or maybe you're just dropping me some, innocent information. I think that it's incumbent upon the league and the players association, especially, like they have to get out ahead of this almost more because you don't want like yeah the league is going to put the hammer down and say like these are the do's and don'ts, but I think the players have to amongst themselves as partners in the league too, they got to look at this and say we can't be getting caught up in any of this stuff. You guys are going to mess up the money, and that's really
For everybody.
the most important thing, because if DraftKings and FanDuel and Fanatics and all them, if they pull their money, whatever from these leagues, then that's the collective bargaining, all that stuff,
Money
and
out of
it's money out of your pocket. So I think that, both sides, players and ownership and the league offices, they all got to get together and figure out a way to educate these guys on exactly what's out there and exactly what to stay away from. Like, exactly. It's not as much as just like taking a bet and betting. It's gotten more complicated. It's gotten more sophisticated. So,
yeah.
with
Yeah.
these bet groups and things like that.
So first, we talked about this a little bit earlier in our group chat, and we had a little bit of a differing opinion on it, you, me, and Sean. But in the group chat, we sent a tweet, and I want to read it so that I get it right.
Yeah.
And I want to credit it correctly. It's from Craig Carton, and he said, one of the questions you, collective you, are going to hear over and over again is why would guys who have made over $100 million in their careers risk everything by gambling? And the sad truth is that wealth is irrelevant and secondary to the desire slash need to gamble, which is an addition. Wealth merely changes how much you can wager or how much credit you can get to wager with. And I didn't think about it that way. I've kind of changed my line of thinking because initially my stance was you are making millions of dollars. Why are you going to throw it away? You know that you cannot bet. So why are you even dabbling in it? But the way I started thinking about it was it's similar to, if you're talking to somebody with any sort of an addiction, alcohol, and, they're struggling with alcohol and you walk over to them and say, "Hey, have you ever thought about just not drinking?" And
Yeah,
it's like, like what
yeah.
of course,
I
so
think about it all day, and then I get a
yeah.
drink from the stress. It's like,
So and that's why they have the gambling hotline and things like that because it is an addiction. So it's hard to just be like, "Hey, Bob Smith, just don't gamble." But if that's what they're addicted to doing, regardless of how it happens, whether it's they're shooting dice, it could be, "Hey, I bet you $1 I could run across the street faster
yeah,
than you."
exactly.
That's the way that they're wired, as opposed to it just being, "Hey, I'm gonna not, play 18 minutes today. I'm only gonna play 10 or whatever." It goes beyond that. And I'm starting to change my tune a little bit. At this point, the league and FanDuel, DraftKings, whoever, they're in bed together.
Yeah,
They're not going anywhere. These
yeah.
partnerships aren't going
No,
anywhere.
you can't
The
take it from the
money isn't
people now.
going anywhere.
Yeah,
I think I'm in agreement with you. Like, yes, the league is going to come down on all, I was going to say all three of them, on both of them, because Damon Jones isn't in the league. They're going to come down on them hard, but there's got to be some sort of education, whether it's from the league, from the Players Association, or other, to really try to nip this in the bud because, again, you're going to mess up the money with the sponsors. And then if fans and betters, like you and me, betters on the outside looking in, if we're skeptical about what's going on or the product that's being put out on the field, on the court, on the ice, and now we stop gambling or we stop going to games because it's like, hey, this game is fixed. Like, why am I gonna spend
yeah,
$300 to go to a game when so and so isn't actually playing? They don't actually
exactly.
want to win the game. It has this ripple effect, and I don't think anybody wants to see that
Not at all.
across the board. So I've changed my tune a little bit. I think I'm with you and Sean. Something's got to change, particularly since sports betting, sports gambling is not going anywhere.
It's
So
not
we
going
we got to
anywhere.
figure something out.
Exactly. That's the key. And it's like, you got to remember too, like what you were saying before. It's like a culture of betting, just like even little stuff like that. Like these dudes are gambling on the planes on the way to the games. Like
Yep.
all,
They
just
play
like car,
cards.
yeah.
They
And
yep.
just the cards. They're probably 50 racks, 100 racks that they're betting out there just on warm ups, on shots. Bet you I make this from right here. Bet you just playing games of horse. Like money just gives you, exactly like Craig said, it gives you more money to play with. Well, I mean, think about if you got some, if you hit the lottery right now, like if you going and bought Powerball, Mega Millions, whatever, you hit, what's the first thing you're gonna do? Like, yeah, you might pay your bills off, but the first thing most people are gonna do is they're gonna go shopping. They're gonna go
Yeah.
spend the money. They're gonna
Yep.
go to the casino. And like spending money is exciting. It's what people like to do. I don't know. So it's not even about winning it or losing it. I think it's just like that, just the
It's just the
thrill.
rush.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rush of spending money on something. Putting, that's it. It's psychology.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. So we're gonna move off of this, but one last question for you: how does the league handle it? Jonte Porter, lifetime suspension. He's
I
never
am.
gonna play in the NBA again. My assumption. I mean, Terry Rozier, like he, I
He's in the
forget.
middle of a $96 million contract right now. Like
He's never gonna play again.
he's
He's never
not.
gonna play
I
in this
think
league.
that yeah, he's certainly he. I don't think he played last night, but I think he's on a roster at least. But yeah,
He
like
is on a roster. Him
yeah, he's
and
still in
Billups have
Miami.
been, yeah, they've
Yeah,
been
they leave of absence,
suspended.
right?
Yeah,
I think that's what you do until you find out what's true and what's not. You let the law levy its punishments. I don't think the league needs to jump past
yeah. No,
where
I
they
agree.
are now to levy punishment until they find out, what was the crime and exactly
Yeah,
what was done here.
And I think the league came out and said as much. They're suspended or whatever the case is,
Yeah,
pending investigation. And yeah, once all the facts come out, they'll make their final decision. But assuming this is true in both counts,
they're both done.
yeah, they're both done.
I don't know.
Which
I was just asking somebody at work, one of my old timers at work. I was like, "Has anybody ever been like taken out of the Hall of Fame?" Because I'm like, this could be that.
I
It's
so I
We're
had that
talking
same
about
thought.
ripping off people with the mafia. Like
Yeah,
that is this is you were in a what? Why? How? I have
yeah.
so many questions. How did he get involved in this type of thing?
I had the same thought about the Hall of Fame, and I don't know. I would like to think that he would remain in the Hall of Fame
Me too.
because, this came theoretically after his playing time.
Yeah.
And that has no bearing on what he did in Detroit, assuming that he wasn't gambling or cheating or throwing games or whatever back then as well. So
Fingers crossed.
I don't think it would have any bearing on that, but again, we'll see. The league very well may be like, we're going to send a message. We thought suspending Jonte Porter forever was gonna be the thing that people were gonna be like, oh yeah,
But they were all doing it at the same time. That's the thing. Like this,
I know, I
it was
know.
like they knew. It wasn't like he kept doing it after he found out about the Jonte Porter thing. It was
No,
like he
you're
had
right.
already
You're
done it.
right.
He
You're
had
right.
already played. This is from a game back in 2023. And
Yeah.
honestly, I know we're saying allegedly, bro, but
It's a
first of all, like there was two things that jump out to me in the report that I read. So what jumps out is the amount of money. They said like $13,000 in on Terry Rozier unders in less than an hour. So on a game that was the Hornets versus the Pelicans, I think this is like Zion's missing the whole year
mhm.
type that whole thing. So there was no draw to this game. It was a March game. Like they're both out of it. It's like so it's just why this game and this, so that's what jumped out
I get
immediately.
it.
And then the way he played was so unserious. And then they showed shots of him like on the bench, like leaning, like pretending to be like holding his leg, like just
I
gingerly,
see
like
that.
he ain't
Okay.
icing it, he's not wrapping it, he's not doing nothing. He's just sitting on the bench, like my leg. Like I mean, like I said, we're alleging, but I don't know how you gonna.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna explain that one. Think about It'll be in there. Cash Patel gonna be in there, like very, very animated too. What are you doing here, Terry? What's going on here? Crazy, allegedly.
Let's get into our last
That's
topic.
another
And
aspect to this too. And I know I don't like to get political, but with this clown show going on down there in DC, the FBI, like I don't know how serious they are.
I
That
honestly.
so this could just be another distraction from the you know what's coming out. But whatever. What's a kid? This is for the
Yeah.
kids anyway. We
Yeah.
don't worry about it. That's it.
Uh,
Family show.
we are gonna wrap up in the W again. You would think after the season that like there wouldn't be so much talk in the WNBA, but their CBA is
Yes.
up next Friday, Halloween night, October 31st. And they are in negotiations. And Adam Silver, commissioner for the NBA, came out and he made some comments essentially just stating that they are in negotiations, the WNBA and the Players Association. And he believes that the players should indeed get a raise, but he's essentially proposing a cap where the best players or the top paid players can make $150,000, and the players association they're like, no,
Hmm.
we want system a format similar to the NBA in
Yeah.
which the players get a portion of the revenue.
Yes.
The claims are that the WNBA, the NBA, the league, the commissioners are not operating in good faith,
They're not.
and
Why
that
else would he suggest something like that?
so that's kind of my question.
Yeah.
So I got two questions for you. One, do you think we get an agreement by October 31st, next Friday?
Absolutely. Absolutely not. No. This is
I
way too
agree.
complicated. This is not something that's going to get settled in 8 days time.
So that doesn't necessarily mean that we get a lockout, right? That just
No.
means that the CBA will have expired, and prior to the next WNBA season, they will need to figure this out. Otherwise, there will be a lockout. But in a perfect world, we're trying to play nicey nicey. Let's try to get this done before the deadline.
Right.
I'm with you. I don't think it's going to happen. So, if you were the arbitrator, if you were in the room with Nafisa Collier, Brianna Stewart, I don't know if Adam Silver is actually in these meetings, probably not, but the commissioner, Kathy, like whoever's in these rooms, if you were the arbitrator, what would you say to try to bridge the gap to make sure that there is no lockout for next season?
I say so. It's hard for me to say because I'm 100% on the player side. Like I think that first of all, they're looking at the NBA seeing record revenues and saying to themselves like, okay, well, now we're seeing record revenues. Like, why wouldn't we set this up the same way? Like, we're a pro basketball league. They're a pro basketball league. Why wouldn't we just set up the revenue sharing the same way?
Hmm.
Actually, being as these bigger players are coming in, and now the league has ballooned in size. The money has ballooned, the TV rights deals, all this stuff. We talk about it ad nauseum. It's all the money has gotten bigger. So why wouldn't the league want to partner with its players like they have with the NBA so that they can work together on a resolution for all this? I just feel like once these deals will be easier to settle if you weren't treating the players. And then to suggest from Adam Silver to suggest they're like, oh, we're just gonna pay the good ones, basically. Like the ones that are bringing in the high tech. Like they don't do that to LeBron. They did not say we're just gonna pay LeBron and Kevin Durant and Steph and all this. Aaron Naismith just got a crazy deal. All these
Yes,
freaking
he did.
guys,
Yeah.
middle of the road, regular role players, the guys that don't make All Stars. These guys are making $100 million, $200 million deals they're signing, and you're telling me that like a pro basketball player is a pro basketball player, in my opinion, male or female. Doesn't matter. Pro basketball, they're the best at what they do and for their sport, which happens to be women's basketball. So pay them like it. And I just think that that's really what it is. Like Caitlin Clark should be getting the pay, shouldn't be making the same money as Caitlin Chen, but they should be eligible to make as much as, their play suggests. Like, if one's a mid-level exception player, then set that number according to the collective bargaining, according to the revenue sharing. That's what I mean. It's a complicated thing they're going to work out. That's why I believe we're months and months away. But the players should not back down on this, and they should stand on it to get. Make it a revenue sharing deal like the men have, where if the revenue keeps going up, then they're eligible to get 51%. Whereas if it's having a down year and you have a year like where like this where Caitlin Clark misses through 2/3 of the season and the ratings go down and tank out or whatever, then you get 47% or 45% of the revenue or whatever, and that's to be divvied up. Like, get creative, figure it out, but stop trying to like. Everybody says they want to do things to help women and do. This is your chance. This is your chance. There is a business deal here where everybody will end up happy. It's all about. I really did think it's about somebody. Adam Silver's got to protect the NBA's interest, and they're paying for the WNBA. So he's trying not to get deeper in the hole with this, or trying to get his money back on it quicker. The way to do that is to not pay the players this extra revenue that's coming in that they're bringing. To take my cut first, and then y'all deal with whatever's left. And he's saying that without saying it, but I think that you just need a different approach because it's short sighted to think of it that way. In the long run, you're building a league that's bringing in popular and players that you could sell as far as their personalities and their faces and the outfits and everything. Like, this is so many unique things about the WNBA. And then they're going to create more stars down the line. The next thing is coming. Then the next thing is coming. That's what's going to help you preserve the league, not just have this one quick bang and then things start to go back down whenever Caitlin Clark decides to hang up her sneakers.
So I've mentioned it before. The commissioners, as much as they want to claim they're for the players, they are for the owners. They're there to take the brunt. That's what they get paid for.
Yes.
When the owners don't want to get their hands dirty, it's the commissioners that kind of step in. So I again, it's all money at this point, and
It's all money.
we've seen progress in the W. We've seen the charter flights. We've seen roster sizes increase. We've seen expansion teams, family benefits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Compensation's the biggest thing, and I know it's frustrating when you talk to people or you hear people or you're on social media and they're like, "Oh, why should Asia Wilson be getting, a LeBron deal? Why should they be making 200 million?" And that's not what they're
They're
after.
not asking for that.
Again, it's revenue share. They
Yeah.
want to be compensated
Yes.
fairly in accordance with what the league is making because more or less NBA player revenue share is about 50%. I
Yep.
think right now the
I think it went as high as
WNBA,
50. I think it went up to 51 from last year because
it
they
might
were up
be.
on everything,
Yeah.
because they signed that brand new big TV deal. It's
Yeah.
going like 11 years or something like that. It's Prime Video, it's NBC, it's ESPN who renewed their contract, all those things like that. It's all the things that add to revenue.
Yeah. So I want to say the WNBA it's below 10%. I want to say it's like 7% or something like that.
Yeah,
And that is the biggest sticking point.
that's an issue.
That's their they would like to be at 50% or
Yeah.
whatever it is, 51%, but I feel like there is a middle ground someplace.
I think the middle
Maybe it's
ground.
35%,
That's what I
maybe it's
said.
40%.
Start 35 or something, or 30% or 25%. And then as things go up, like if they continue on this rise up, like the players got to set that up so that it sets up the future players so that they don't have to have this fight again. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
And that's
have it be
yeah.
over the course of this collective bargaining. Each year, the revenue goes up, then our revenue goes up. Just have it prorated or whatever. Like our percentage of the revenue goes up as the revenue goes up. So we could prove to y'all, since you don't think that the players and the way that we play and the conditions we play under and things like that, all that doesn't contribute to the product. We're gonna show you it will reflect in the numbers, and then you will cash us out accordingly once we
Yeah.
show you that we're right.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I mentioned it last week. We're at a pivotal intersection,
Huge.
where the league is booming. We have big personalities, whether it's the stud buds or
Stud
Angel
buds are the best
Wilson
thing in basketball.
or
That's unbelievable. They're hilarious, yo. Hilarious. I want to kick it with them because they're so funny.
Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese or Paige Beckers or whoever
Yeah.
Juju coming
Angel Reese
out
is
or
doing
more
Victoria's
vet.
Secret walks. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yo,
yeah, yeah,
your game is as big as ever. It's because she did it. Now Sophie Cunningham talking about she want to do it. That was her
yep,
dream now. All of a
yep,
sudden. I
yeah,
think that's crazy. But all of a sudden now she want to do it. We've seen Angel doing it, but now you want to do all right, whatever, anyway.
yeah,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, all these things are happening. Juju's doing full. She's not even there yet. And she's doing full, like, documentary pieces and things like that. You just got so much happening.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
so much happening.
So yeah, I just think we're at a pivotal intersection. And while I don't think it's a situation where, knock on wood, do I think there's going to be a lockout? I don't. I think they'll figure it out at some point. But if there was a lockout, do I think that's the end of the WNBA? No. But I do think it would be a
Can't lock
black
out.
eye on,
Yeah.
you have all of these new fans,
Yeah.
for better or worse.
Yeah.
You have all these new fans that you've drawn in over the last 2, 3 years. For them to then not have a league to
Yeah.
go to games to support,
Yeah.
I just think I think it would be detrimental to a
I think
degree.
ideally they need to have this figured out by middle March
At
because
the
you're going to
very
have
latest.
your next crop of players, your draft picks for they're are they going to have you're going to be seeing them. They're going to be on TV, and they're going to these young women are the ones that the fans fall in love with. This is where they fall in love with them.
Yeah.
And Women's March Madness when they're watching the Final Four, they're seeing things like that. So you don't want to miss out on that opportunity to grab one of these players and have generate that excitement and within your fan base. Like, hey, look who we got. So and so that just took whatever to the Sweet 16, to the Elite Eight, to the Final Four, the national championship, and beat South Carolina or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got to be ready for this next crop of players. You want them also those young women coming in there knowing that the things are getting better, they're improving, and you're only going to make it better too. So you're coming into a good league, a real
And
pro sports league.
for what it's worth, I feel like it's hard to comprehend when I say this because we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, but it does genuinely feel principle based on the side of the players. Like,
I think so.
of course, they want to get paid now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? The top players, Fee, Breonna Stewart, Asia Wilson, like, of course,
they
they want to get,
certainly, yeah,
and they should get paid. You know, they want to get paid now, but this is also paving the way for all of these young players. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, Juju when she comes in, Kiki when she like they
all that.
not the players coming in, but the players that are in the league now,
The young, yeah,
they're not going to benefit from the CBA. They're locked in under their rookie contract.
yeah,
But when we get this new crop of players coming in, they'll be
yeah,
set up differently, set up better financially
yeah.
as they move forward.
And Caitlin Clark, hers her contract extension when her rookie deal is done, it'll be historic, a number that the league has never seen. And then that's what I'm telling you, that it's going to be a number that's going to make some little 10-year-old girl be like, so let me get out here and start dribbling. Let me get out here and start shit like that. Like those type of numbers. And then the very next year, Paige is gonna break that number on her second year or second contract. So and so on and so forth. And then the year after that, Juju will be on her, and that, you know what I mean. We're still 6-7 years away from this, but you know, from that whole thing, seeing it out. But yeah, I think that that's what it is. The FISA really kind of made it clear, like it's not really about her. Like it's about just getting their piece of the pie. Like a
Yep.
fair, they want fairness.
Yep.
And I think it's totally reasonable to say, hey, we have stepped our game up. We've improved our product, you know, the product, and we want to share in the benefits of the product being improved.
Absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. We'll see how it pans out. Again, we're both in agreement. We don't think it's going to happen in the next week and a half,
No,
but
I don't think it's gonna happen before this year is over.
I would be shocked
Yeah, I
if it
think
did,
we're going into
honestly.
the winter. I think if
Yeah.
something that happens during like Unrivaled or something like that, they're gonna wait. They're gonna want Kathy to be under pressure and feel like she has to do it, and they're gonna be asking about it. They're from there at Unrivaled will come 600,000 clips of all of them saying that it's not our control. It's out of our control. We have our deal. Just, you know, all in solidarity, all one voice, but from multiple different voices. And I think that that's where we're gonna get to, and then things will heat up in February, March, we'll get something signed.
We shall see.
But a whole lot of posturing until then.
Let's get out of here. It's
Yes,
been a long week, man.
yes.
I went up to Toronto because I thought the Mariners were going to go to the World
Yo,
Series,
man, I know.
and man, I mean, I will say the Canadians, nicest people in the world, man.
Great folks, man.
I
Different
was,
vibe than here.
yeah, I
What they think about you as an American? Do they think you were all brash and
no,
braggadocious? No?
I mean that's not me in general, but you know, I went to there's a bar right across the street from the Rogers Center, so I went there
Yeah,
before the game, and I think I saw one other Mariners fan in there, so it was just me. There was a lot of "Let's Go Blue Jay" chants, but I
yeah.
ended up sitting next to a girl from. She was like an hour away from Toronto, but she said that she came to games a bunch, and super nice. Like she bought me a couple drinks. She was like, "I hope you guys." She was like, "I hope it's a good game," and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"You know, I agree." And then I was going to the bathroom, and a kid stops me, and he's like, are you from Seattle?" I'm like, "No, I'm from Connecticut." And he's like, "Are you going to the game tomorrow? Because Game 6 was Sunday, Game 7 was Monday."
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, "Are you going to the game tomorrow?" I was like, "No, I got a game for, or I got a ticket for tonight." He was like, "Oh, you're gonna need one for tomorrow." I'm like, "Damn, man." And like we just, it was a good conversation, just going
Yeah,
back and
yeah.
forth, you know. And it ended up, both of them, they ended up, you know, giving me a pound, and they're just like, hopefully it's a good game,
That's it.
and you know, we kind of
Legendary
went from
series.
there. But
Legendary
great
series.
series, didn't go the way
Great.
we
Yeah.
wanted, but
I
yeah,
really wanted to see it too. I'm like, I wanted to see something I never seen before. Really was what it was coming down to.
yeah,
Also, I said it here. The Mariners were defending America. We have now
yeah,
lost our pastime. So that's it. Then I looked at, I said, oh my God, here we go again. It's like deja vu. LA, Toronto, there's battling. It's US versus Canada. We're still going at it with these people. Drake. And then I started
yeah.
thinking, I spun all the way out of control. I said to myself, who has the balls to come out to not like us? on the Dodgers. Like, whose walk up music is do it? I was like, is Mookie Betts gonna do it? I said, I bet you Freddie Freeman be like one of those
I
like,
could see
to
Freddie
troll
doing it.
hard enough to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I totally could see it. Yeah, and then I was like, all right, so this is gonna be fun too.
yeah.
Now
It'll be hilarious.
The Dodgers are defenders of America now. Crazy
They are.
because this is going to be wild. Who goes to the White House? Trump hates California, and Canada is not really rocking with him right now.
Yeah,
Hates Trump.
exactly.
So it's like, are you even going to invite the Toronto Blue Jays if they
Probably
win
not.
it? Like, would that be unprecedented? I don't even know. We're off the rails. We're off the rails. We're
We
off the
are off the
rails.
rails. We are off the rails. Let's get out of here. I'm John L. I'm with my guy Matt Price Cash Walking. This is Heat Check powered by Designated Report, and we will be back with y'all next week. You got any words for the Knicks fans before we get out of here?
Beat Boston.
Beat Boston.